Hi everyone, welcome to Animen. Travis here, and Rising of the Shield Hero is awesome. The first season. So, Rising of the Shield Hero is, again, season 1 is phenomenal. The animation is really gorgeous in Rising of the Shield Hero. Very traditional for an isekai that's a fantasy. The music is very top-notch. But what makes Rising of the Shield Hero Season 1 stand out? Now, there are a few factors that, you need to kind of, factor in before you start talking about how great of an isekai this is, or at least the first season. But Rising of the Shield Hero felt different. Very much like how Konosuba feels different, being like a pure comedy. But what made Rising of the Shield Hero feel different was within its storytelling. The idea of the hero really being put down, and not in a funny way like Kazuma. Like, really being put down. Like, when Naofumi gets to this world, one, we find out really early on that, there's alternate dimensions, alternate, realities. And, our other, 3 heroes that are summoned don't come from the same Japan Naofumi comes from. Even more, there's not this bondship with the other heroes because they can't really bond on similar aspects because their worlds are, different. And I think that was a good move, storytelling-wise, because for, again, the events to come. And as soon as Naofumi gets to this world, people really kind of write him off. He is the shield hero. The dude is the devil. People do not want to look his way. He is not popular. He is not blue check verified. And so people just don't like him. And when he kind of makes this known, and he needs a party member because he can't really grow with the shield, the princess shows up. Princess Malty. I think it's Malty. I think it's Mai. I'm just gonna call her Mai. She's also referred to as Mai. And when the princess, comes up, now, in the first episode, which is phenomenal of an episode, gosh damn, it is so good. Princess Mai, she basically, we don't know she's the princess yet, but, Princess Mai joins Naofumi's team, kind of shows him a little bit of the ropes, and she basically just ends up, blackmailing him, ends up, accusing him of a crime that he didn't do, of, raping. This is a big thing, the other heroes look at him as, he's some scum, they thought he knew him, but deep down, he was just a wolf in sheep's clothing. And that's the first instance where we see this guy really kicked to the ground. His money is taken away from him, and he stores money. He actually stores a little money away. He's a little cautious because, tourism. He makes that little joke where he's he makes this little joke where he stores a little money, but you could walk out with that little money, but he throws it to him, and he's he is mad. Again, this dude is kicked down to the lowest term. No one wants to help him. He is again, he's been kicked to the bottom, and he's gotten the worst accusal out there, the false accusal of being a rapist. As Naofumi is down to that point, we now, get the sense of the show, the sense of the title, the Rising of the Shield Hero, the journeys of Naofumi and his conquests. So we already get a sense of what the plot is to the Rising of the Shield Hero. Now, I think what the next step happens that makes Rising of the Shield Hero the first season is so good, is the constant rise. Now, his rising is a slow process. Again, he ends up getting a slave that would end up becoming Raphtalia, and with Raphtalia, everything seems like everything's going good until he gets accused of abusing his slave, and he got a slave, and again, oh, how dare he get a slave? But, Raphtalia, he's taking care of Raphtalia like he's a father, and you know, there ain't no baby mama. Like, he is a father, and he is taking care of her like that's his own daughter. That's his daughter. That is straight up his own daughter, and he is taking care of her. You know, treated her from being this sick little thing to this, you know, warrior. Raphtalia even like defends Naofumi. She's like, I'm not, you know, I'm a slave by choice, and that is the weirdest thing to ever say, but she doesn't mind it. And you know, Naofumi is not like that compared to like other people, but people are so fixated that he's the shield hero and hate him so much that they don't care what he has to say. And you know, he ends up fighting, the spear hero, and ends up losing again. And well, it doesn't really lose. You know, again, Princess Mai ends up basically cheating, and like Naofumi ends up losing, and you know, Raphtalia's slave crest goes away until, you know, they get it back later because Raphtalia, she wants that bond ship, or she sees that as kind of a bond ship thing. But Naofumi, even though when things go his way and everything's looking up, the world still kicks this guy down. It's like he's trying to walk up these stairs, but some asshole is just constantly kicking you down, and you're tripping you on each step. And that's what's so great about the first season, is watching Naofumi go through these little struggles. And every time, you know, and I think like storytelling wise, every time he's being pushed down more, and the more the consequences keep pushing him down, it makes those little victories even more sweeter. Like, case in point, winning the race with his Filiol, which would end up becoming Philo, against the spear hero. And like, again, little victories like that, make you root for this guy. And that's what's great about the first season of Rising of the Shield Hero, is, you know, these little victories that build up to these even bigger victories. Now, even though I'm sitting here and I'm talking about how great of this kind of redemption story is, this false, again, the false label to, you know, the hero. Season 1, I think, also is the downfall to Rising of the Shield Hero. And what I mean by this is that it's so fun watching Naofumi's, like, you know, rise, you know, coming from ashes and rising up like a phoenix. Like, it's so fun watching that journey that, unfortunately, with the first season, they kind of resolve it already. Like, later in the season, you know, it ends up finding out that, you know, they were falsely accusing the shield hero, and there was, like, some weird, like, church that, you know, didn't like him, and, like, you know, they end up kind of relieving his name, and he gets justice with the princess and the king, and who were kind of really orchestrating a lot of that, and it takes a huge leap. Like, again, as I'm talking about, there's like these little wins that happen that where, you know, you get some big wins, but there's these little wins he gets, like, especially over like the other heroes, and like, it really shows that he is more mentally a hero than the other heroes. And again, that's what makes, again, the journey so beautiful and a masterpiece. But once we take that huge leap where he ends up becoming the, you know, he ends up getting forgiven of all this stuff, and he ends up having that redemption, and even it still does like the true hero thing, and stepping in and, you know, saying the king shouldn't die and Princess Mai shouldn't die. Like, again, really establishing that, like, he's a badass hero. Even the people who, like, you know, discouraged him, he's willing to save. Like, an essence of a true hero there. And that happens so quick, and then the rest of the season's kind of him and his team kind of, you know, meeting other characters and like leveling up, and it's kind of at that point a little dull. He's kind of risen. He has risen to the status that we want to see him at. Again, sure, there are some people out there who are trying to, you know, knock him down, and they try to do that. Like, Princess Mai tries to poison him at a point once everything's kind of resolved, but like, it's like you can't do stuff like that no more at that point. It's they try to do things where, you know, they try to like push this like, oh, we're still trying to push you down, but like he's already at the top of the stairs though. Like you can't push the guy down the stairs. Like it has to be something like really messed up. Now, granted, I did not see season 2. I only seen a little bit of it. So I haven't continued the series, and it wasn't because I dropped it because of like I hated it. I just got really busy. And just talking about the first season though, and re-looking at, re-evaluating, re-looking at the first season, it was so good. The first season was so good that the start of season 2 didn't feel as good. And again, even towards the end of season 1, it just didn't feel as good because it felt like he arose to that spot. And that's where it kind of falls flat. Again, in the ending, he ends up looking after a little like town or a little county as a lord, and that's how season 1 kind of ends. And honestly, a little bit of me's kind of happy, like, leaving it off as the ending, being like, you know what? Open-end ending, let us decide how his fate goes, because again, they masterfully, like, it was a masterpiece. They showed us, again, this guy, they showed us the rising of the Shield Hero. And when more seasons started coming out, again, super excited, but it just feels like, you can't kick the guy back down the stairs when, he's already up at the stairs and, and continues to walk. Maybe at one point I'll end up getting back to the Shield Hero anime and seeing what they've done with it. I would really like to, because I really love these characters, but I just really wanted to talk about season 1 of The Rising of the Shield Hero. It still is one of my favorite isekais. At least the first season is still one of my favorite isekais ever. Like, it is so masterfully done, beautiful, and like the storytelling is just so good that if I never get to the next few seasons and never know the ending, I'm kind of happy just leaving it off on season 1. And I'm okay with that. Now, if you think I'm wrong, or if you have any other say into this, or if you want to push me a little forward to look at the other stuff, by all means, I'm happy to do that. I would love to make Animen my full time, and that's the dream there, the Animen dream. But with that said, this was me talking about why season 1 of The Rising of the Shield Hero was just bomb diggity, as well as, just a perfect, I would again say a perfect conclusion to the series, if you solely choose that to be. With that said, I'm Travis from Animen, and keeping that Animen dream alive, please hit the like, subscribe, comment, the bell notification, that's a thing too. And goodbye!
Thank you for watching! If you're not subscribed, be sure to do so by clicking here. If you are subscribed, we thank you for keeping the Animen dream alive. Be sure to check out our other content here and here. For even more content, be sure to check out the rest of our channel, and be sure to follow us on Twitter by clicking the link in the description below. I'm Felicia, and I'll see you next time.